everyone. Welcome to the Emerald City DAO AMA with Jacob Tucker himself. You all know him, most of you love him. He's a legend amongst mere mortals, and his bot might say he's a god, but I'm not sure. Jacob, how are you, man?
I'm good, Jimbo. How are you? I've just been chilling in here, listening to music. It's been a good time. Hope you're doing all right.
Man, I'm having a blast. I genuinely have learned so much. Like, I enjoy these from the collector standpoint. Like, I host them, but I'm sitting in the crowd with everybody else, and it's an out of body experience to ask the questions and also like be super interested in the answers. So it's just so fun, and I genuinely am, all bullshit aside, so excited to kind of dive into your massive child that you have created of Emerald City. So
True.
why don't you take a minute to explain a little bit about what it is, what it started as, and we'll go into what it is now.
Yeah, sure thing. First of all, I know I was telling you this yesterday, Jimbo, but it's great to be having this AMA here. It's rare that people actually are like, "Oh, you want to do an AMA?" So when you were asking me to do this, I was very excited, and very thank you to all the people who gave me a warm welcome here. Yeah, I'll give a brief introduction about Emerald DAO. So we're basically a community or a platform that builds tooling for projects on Flow. We have a wide variety of things that we do. If you've ever interacted with Float, we built that. If you ever interacted with the Emerald bot, which you're all using to verify your roles in Discord, we built that. We recently launched Touchstone, which is like a platform to make your own NFT collections. We're also launching Toucans, which is a platform to launch your own token on Flow. We also have a shield service to help audit contracts. There's a lot going on. I'm sure we'll dive into it throughout this AMA. But if there's one thing you'll think of us as, we're really just a platform that builds infrastructure and tooling on the Flow blockchain. And we also have a whole academy to teach Flow and Cadence too. So definitely a lot to cover today. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to start there, man. I mean, I remember some of the first the tool, obviously the Emerald bot. We're using it today. Everybody's used it today. It is so useful to me as someone who creates these discords and wants to allow permissions. It's a huge part of party favors. It's how I'm able to use it. I mean, shit, we just created in theory a concept for this verifier overnight, and it's just so cool to see that happen in real time. So I want to back up to the Emerald Academy, and obviously you have a skill set to continue to build and learn at a fast pace. What does it mean to you, and why was it so important to build the academy?
Yeah, so as the top Cadence developer, most attractive developer in the Flow blockchain space, I took it upon
We already
myself,
talked
right?
about Biarte earlier today, so we can move on.
Good
Um,
one, good one. Good good one. No, he is true. But I've always had a love and passion for education, just like you do, Jimbo, for learning about these projects and getting people to talk about them. I've always loved the education space. I've been an instructor at my university, at elementary schools. I've done this for a while now. And so I love it. So when I came to the Flow space, and I've been here for a couple of years now. I've been coding in Cadence for a while, which is the smart contract language for Flow. I also loved to speak in public. I started YouTube. I started uploading YouTube channels to teach people how to use it, and it was kind of a weird moment for me. I was just a college kid at the time, and I was getting messages from even Roham that the Dapper team themselves were using my YouTube videos to learn Cadence. So once that was happening, I was like, wow, this is real. And I sort of started the academy to sort of bring together all my YouTube videos and start making more official content. So we have a whole platform for it now. We're actually redesigning the whole platform too. And we run monthly boot camps to teach people about Flow and Cadence. It's all for free. There's no charge, no nothing. In fact, we actually bring in a lot of people that spend a lot of time working or with family, but they just want to take an hour at night to just relax and learn Cadence. Or learn about the Flow blockchain. We even teach people that are non-coders, have never coded in their life, and they come in just to learn. So it's been a great experience. And for me, I mean, I just like to talk to people. I like to have fun in Discord, just like you do, Jimbo. So the academy is a great way for me to let out some energy, but also just teach people Flow and Cadence in the process.
Yeah, and you've helped kind of be the starter building block for a lot of these not young but early developers. The new age developers that are working with a lot of our favorite projects, oddly enough, and appropriately enough. So I wanted to kind of just take a step back and say, building on flow and stuff like that, it's always been passionate to you. Can you talk a little bit about, and just kind of almost a full shill for the flow blockchain of why flow blockchain specifically intrigues you? What it separates it from the other ones? Why is it so important that we, support this blockchain and this technology? And if that's even a thing, right?
Totally, yeah. So, I'm someone that likes to be, very honest. So I'll mention both good and bad things about Flow blockchain. I used to be a Solidity developer, so that means I used to work in like the Ethereum space. That was when I was in college. I was coding in Solidity, and frankly, I hated it. I was just in like a blockchain club at the time, and they were all coding in the Ethereum world. So I was like, heck, why not? So I was in that for a while, and then I remember, I think it was more than 2 years ago at this point. This was when NBA Top Shot hadn't even launched yet. I got an email from the Flow team to join a boot camp they were doing at the time. And really, I mean, at this point, no one really knew what Flow even was, or the only thing that Dapper had put out yet was CryptoKitties. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I try this random blockchain called Flow because Solidity is so trash. So I tried it out, and immediately I was addicted. I actually met Bjartek there. That was where we first met, and we were working on some projects together at the time. But it brings back good memories because I remember as a beginner, even as a college student at the time that wasn't too good at coding, that Cadence is really a language for people that have never even coded before. You can easily understand Cadence if you put in even a week's worth of time. It's also very easy to read if you're a developer. It's very nice the way that it works. It minimizes errors in your code. It's a great, fantastic language to code in. And to me, a lot of people talk about, well, the Flow blockchain has an incredible community. True, right? It has an amazing community. It has great NFT projects. True. But as a developer myself, the reason I advocate for Flow is because of the Cadence language. To me, I think that's why Flow will win. We know whatever that means, but I think in the long run, the language that supports Flow is what's really going to help it hold out against other blockchains.
And as a normie, as someone who is still needs to go through boot camp, that's what I've been told to believe and kind of led to believe about just cadence as a language itself of bringing on the masses to creation. Do you think it kind of? I mean, is it a pretty correct statement to kind of say that cadence allows for the artist to kind of like have no restrictions in a sense, or like is that a fair statement versus like a blockchain like Ethereum that kind of limits you based on like the transaction costs and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I totally agree with what you're saying, and that's a very solid point. I just to sort of take a step back. One time I was in a Twitter space with the Flow team, and I remember someone on the team saying something like, Cadence is so easy that anyone can read it. And I immediately thought that's not true, right? If you've never coded before, Cadence is going to confuse the heck out of you, right? It's not like there's some magical language that's just going to allow you to understand the language and just be so much better in some random promised land. But Cadence is just from as someone that's coded in both Solidity and Cadence, it is so much easier to understand if you even put in a little bit amount of time with it. And I think that's awesome. And like you were saying, Jimbo, Flow also supports that, low gas fee, sort of infrastructure. So it does help, NFT projects sort of circumvent that, $100 gas fee you'll get on Ethereum. And, it's intimidating, right? Who wants to launch a project on Ethereum right now, especially in crypto winter? But, it's hard to do that when you have to pay, hundreds of dollars for a gas fee. Whereas I believe, yes, you're right, on Flow blockchain, the gas fees are a lot smaller. And so it allows projects to really, get their ideas out there.
Yeah, and I just love, like you said, like you met Biarte there, and it's just like it's so cool that it's such a tight knit group. That do you feel like that allows us to kind of progress the blockchain and the ecosystem a lot faster than being such a spread out kind of larger ecosystem?
I do. I think it's because, ever since Bjartek and I met back like more than 2 years ago, like we have constantly worked together on building some of the infrastructure for the Flow blockchain. I mean, even metadata views, which is something that's been for any developer in here that's coded in Cadence, this is something that has revolutionized NFT metadata on the Flow blockchain. And this was in development for years on end, between BRTech and some of the other people in the ecosystem, helping to give input. And any time that even I have a question in the Flow space, I'll ask BRT or Austin from Floaty or Blue Sign that's always in the Flow Discord helping people out. So, the community side of things is very tight knit with NFT projects, like we're all here today. And Jimbo, you do a fantastic job of that. You really do. But on the developer side, it's also very close and tight knit. A lot of developers are always in communication to help build some of this infrastructure on Flow.
So that's leads me into my next kind of thing and talking about the products you built, man. I mean, I obviously we talked about the Emerald Academy. You mentioned Float, which is a huge achievement. I mean, it seems like it was so long ago, Jacob, but it has not been around that long. Let's brag about Float for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Float. I believe I started working on Float. I think in January of this year. It feels like years ago. You're right, but I started working on it in January this year, and I was working on it with Andrea from the Float team, who's also a guild leader in Emerald City, and we worked on it for like 3 months, and we released it out to the public. And I always tell this story because it's at least it's funny to me. But there's a page on Float. It's floats.city/live where you can see all the claims that are happening on the whole site, and a little bubble will float through the screen if something gets claimed. And when we first released the platform, if there was even one bubble on that site that someone had claimed a float, Andre and I were like screaming. We were like, "Oh my god, the platform is getting attention! Like one person minted a float. This is insane." We were like freaking out. And then lo and behold, a month later, there were over a million mints. The page was constantly filled with bubbles. I mean, it was the second most transacted application, on the entire blockchain. And even last month and the 3 months before that, I think it was beating out every Dapper Sports product that there was, even, doubling NBA Top Shot, all these things. So it's amazing, as a developer to watch something go from, oh my God, we got 1 mint to, a months later, we're almost at 4 million. So it's definitely been super cool. And honestly, I'm happy that it's just helping everybody out.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of dive into your brain a little bit about it obviously started from the concept of a POAP, but it's just so much more of a proof of attendance. What made you kind of like go in that direction and say instead of just a proof of attendance, I want this to be almost like an actual token?
Yeah, so I think one benefit that we have in the Flow blockchain space is we can see the good things that are happening on other chains, but also the bad. So of course, I looked at POAP and I was like, well, this is obviously successful, but there's a lot of complaints here. And to me, it always baffled me that projects don't look at Twitter or don't look at feedback they're getting on the platform. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback that POAP would get is, why are you restricting like me from creating an event? Or why is this not actually on chain? Why is this just in your centralized database? And I thought to myself, that's absurd. How are we promoting POAP in an ecosystem where one, it's gated, and two, the POAPs aren't even legitimate NFTs? So I thought to myself, well, why don't I just build it? So then we built it. And here we are, it's completely open to mint. There's no restrictions on the platform, so anyone can create an event. It's totally free. Gas fees are obviously low, so that helps too. And they're actual NFTs, so you can verify them with Emerald Bot, or you can trade them to your friend. It's I think I was definitely lucky to have POAP as sort of like a base layer. So props to them for that. But I definitely took into account a lot of the feedback they were getting and was like, why don't they just do this? So I just did it myself.
Oh man, do I love that young spunky attitude of I'll just do it myself. Fuck it,
Yeah,
fuck it, we'll do it live.
yeah,
Um,
true, yeah.
Man, yeah, the floats obviously changed the game. And then that's where you probably saw your platform getting a lot of use. So I remember even having back channels where like the floats were. I mean, again, on a tech side, on a dev side, being able to mint that many NFTs, period, is amazing, is incredible, and people might not understand that from a tech standpoint. And then obviously brought you a lot of eyes and a lot of attention. Is that where you started to kind of see things take off a little bit, or I mean, was that a pretty big impact for you?
Oh, definitely. Float is it's a free platform, so Emerald City, we don't earn anything from that. It's totally a free tool, and we're just happy to have it out there. But it's one of those things that it definitely has helped us because it's helped to just raise attention for what Emerald City is capable of, right? Like, you know, who built Float? It's a really successful platform. It's got really good transaction counts. Who built that? Oh, it's Emerald City, and it introduces people into the broader community. And that's been awesome for us. I would say initially we started to get attention when the Emerald bot actually was released because that was sort of like a necessary tool for communities to verify themselves in Discord. Um, but yeah, both Emerald bot and Float really helped to get people into our Discord and know about us. And I'm just, always I'm just so grateful for that, and truly am so grateful for all you here.
Oh, come on, you're making me blush.
I see Roto's Roto's picture in the chat. True, I I remember when this was first made. That's awesome.
I almost said touch on Touchstone. That would have been awful, but I would love to touch on Touchstone. So can
Sure,
we talk
yeah.
about? I want to talk about the Touchstone drizzle and toucans.
Yeah, of course. So Touchstone, so of those three, Touchstone and Drizzle are both live. Touchstone is a platform that helps artists create their own NFT collections for free. It allows you to, again, it's no code, so it allows you to go on there and create your own NFT collection. You just upload your assets, a price. You can choose. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually choose to sell your NFTs in any flow-based token. So it can be Flow token, it can be FUSD, it can be Starly token. You can sell it in whatever token you want. And it'll automatically create a marketplace for you, like a primary sales page where you can sell your NFTs. Now, just this is someone that's just like taking like a step back, to be non-biased about this. Like, obviously there's a lot of marketplaces out there now, and it's the market is super over what's it called? Just flooded with marketplaces and different places to go. But the reason that I wanted to develop Touchstone was because it doesn't require any manual review on our end. So, for example, if you were to go to Gaia, right, and you were to try and launch an NFT collection on their site, they have to work with you, right? They have to basically code the contracts for you. They have to deploy it. They have to approve you. They have to put you in Dapper Wallet. So all these things are required. Whereas Touchstone, there's no communication needed. You can just take your assets and create a collection on your own without having to communicate with us at all. So it was it was more in the light of, how do we get artists to create their own collections in a decentralized way? And on top of that, the artists completely own all their contracts. So again, unlike Gaia where, they are sort of in control of your contracts and your upgrades and all that kind of stuff, Touchstone is completely hands off. So the artist owns all their code. We even deploy the contracts to their account. So it's totally decentralized.
Oh, and I love that concept. I really genuinely do. How and that's going to allow for so many more creatives to want to create NFTs, and that's kind of like what I've been trying to do with party favors a little bit. Again, just sneaking into the idea of, hey, if you don't want to put all the attention in creating an NFT, just feature yourself here. Because do you feel like a lot of artists are out there that are kind of hesitant to create NFTs for like the overwhelming aspect that comes with it?
I think so, yeah. And to be honest with you, I think the tech is also, or at least it wasn't really there. A couple months ago, if you were an artist and you wanted to create a collection, your only option was to either hire a dev to do that or to go to Gaia and basically beg them to do it with you. But you had to sort of have a reputation if you wanted Gaia to do it with you. And they also take a massive percent of your sales. And I thought that was so gross. Like I don't know, like I just to me, it seems like if the artist is going to do all this work and create all this art, why not just let them sell all their NFTs and just take a vast majority of the profit? Like for full transparency, we do take, I think it's like 2.5% of secondary sales. So it is very small. Unlike Gaia, which it's like, it's just so high. But yeah, I really wanted to allow artists to just allow that, to do it themselves and, have fun with that and also maintain true ownership of their assets. Now, another thing I'll mention too is that, we've seen a lot of use cases just beyond like art, I guess. We also had we actually had a professor who had a class and he wanted to upload like images to create an NFT collection for his classroom. and did that as well. So, we're seeing use cases beyond just art and, into the education space and into other types of NFTs that, aren't purely art based.
I think that this is just a testament of the space growing so fast. It made sense before in that market to, nobody cared about transaction fees. Nobody cared about all that because they were just flipping and spending and turning and stuff. And now that the space has slowed down and is focused on the creator, I think that that's, essential to have a creation like that with still a low kind of tip of the top, where you just take
Yeah.
2.5%. And then, so if we want to go further in, I mean, obviously, you could talk about, you have so much stuff going on. It's insane. The, I guess what I'm actually very curious about is what's next.
Yeah, so what's next for us is Toucans. So Toucans is currently under development. This is a platform for DAOs or for people that want to create their own token. Basically, what it'll allow you to do is go on the website and create your own fungible tokens. So you know how, like, for example, Flow token, right? That's a fungible token, or FUSD, that's a fungible token. The website will allow you to create your own token. So the cool thing about this is that, let's say you just wanted to create a token for a video game that you have, right? You want to give people XP for achieving certain items. You can do that. Or if you're a DAO and you want to launch a token, you can actually fundraise directly on the platform. So if you create a token, you can set like a total supply, you can set like a reserve rate, a how long you want the fundraise to go on for. You can set multiple different stages of fundraising too, and raise money on the platform for your DAO or your treasury, or if you're a project and you're just trying to raise for it. It can all be done on the platform. And we're trying to work with IncrementFi. I love the guys at IncrementFi. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. But we're working with IncrementFi to also make it so that all tokens that are created on Toucans will automatically be added to IncrementFi to have staking capabilities, all these financial things that they cover, on their platform. So I guess that's what's next for us, or that's what's at least directly next. We have a couple more things, but that's the biggest thing.
Okay, so you're telling me right now we're going to create the Jimboken.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll make sure to reserve that name for you.
Thank you. The Jimboken will be one of the most valuable pieces of treasure on the earth. And can only buy party favors actually. Man,
Yeah.
it's just so cool. Do you ever feel like, Jacob? And this is kind of just like a personal question. Do you ever feel like the space is moving so damn fast that you can't even catch up with it?
Yeah, man, I really do. I really do. I think it's important to talk about. I have faced burnout multiple times. I mean, especially, like with so many things going on. I'm sure, some of you here have probably felt this too, where there's so many things to keep up with. There's so many resources. There's so much communication going on. It's almost like at one point you're just like, all right, I need a break for a couple of days. You know what I mean? And that's totally normal. I definitely feel that sometimes, but I think with a good break, you come back and you're a lot more in it. You're in it to win it after that. So, I face that myself, and I think it's normal, and I think it's almost a good thing to happen. But yeah, I felt that a few times for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I think my advice would be just like to focus on what you can, what's in front of you and focus. Because I mean, like I said, this is selfishly why I do these parties and these AMAs. Is I'm trying to re-tap into everything and trying to understand everything that's going on because I just feel like there's such an immense amount. And I'm like a kid in a candy shop, and my mom's slapping my hand like, pick one. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
want all the candy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's true.
and then I guess like a couple other questions I had for you was do you see yourself kind of diving into any like VR tools? I mean, obviously we just had Crikey up here, and we
Yeah.
talked with other projects that are working on it. Do you see yourself kind of developing tools like that, or are you strictly going to stay within like the NFT crypto token range?
Yeah, so I may be a Cadence legend, but I am an absolute VR total noob. To be honest with you, that stuff goes right over my head. I don't understand it, but I think it's so cool. I think my brother even has like what's that called, like an Oculus or something, where you can do like VR video
Yeah.
games. Yeah,
Oh, it's so.
yeah, I've done that before, and it's fun, but I am so stupid with this kind of stuff. So, to be honest with you, I think that Emerald City for now is going to stay away from that, just in terms of us developing that technology. But we are more than happy to integrate or help support AR that's going on in the space. whether that's Solar Pups or Someplace. We love the people at Someplace. Jenna, we love Jenna at Someplace. And they've talked about before, like having floats in there and some cool banners in there. So we definitely communicate with projects that are doing AR, but at least in terms of Emerald City, we won't be developing any of that tech anytime soon.
Super awesome, man. I like I said, I love that you're just down to integrate and help. And again, it just walk me through because maybe this can help people understand how efficient this, your tool building really is, and the resources that you have is this custom verifier we used for this event. I have time and time again had to give you role IDs, contract addresses to verify that someone owns an NFT of these awesome projects that we have. And can you just let them know, let the people here know, like how that all happened and how you ended up building a tool for it?
Yeah, of course. So my number one motto as a developer and as as someone that's always paying attention in the Emerald City community is if the community is giving you feedback on something, make it happen, right? Assuming it's feasible, of course. If you wanted me to fly to the moon, of course I couldn't do that, but I would try. But one of the biggest pieces of or feedback that we got with the Emerald Bot is, it's sort of annoying that we have to communicate to you, Jacob, the role IDs and the certain NFTs we want to verify, and we totally got that. That makes a lot of sense to us. So what we're doing is we're trying to develop a platform where you can go on there, you can type in all the roles yourself, and then there's going to be a whole list of verifiers that there's going to there's a whole list of verifiers. So for example, verify a float, and you can type in the float event ID to verify for, or the user must have 6 flovatars, or the user must have a series 2 party favor, right? And they're all gonna be there for you. So you can almost select them like Lego blocks and build your own verifier. And then it'll give you a command to paste into Discord, and you won't have to communicate with us at all. So actually, why don't I even link a demo of this inside the Discord today? We don't have to
Yeah,
pause me while I
please.
find this, but we have a little bit of a demo. It doesn't work, so don't actually think it works, but it's somewhat there. And I'll share it with all of you today, just so you can get sort of a
If you
taste of what
want,
it's gonna look
Jacob, you
like.
could throw it in the Emerald Dow tent, and then
Oh,
we can tag everyone.
sure, yeah. Let me do
Just to
that.
get them together.
Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, I'll paste that in the Emerald DAO channel, and if you want to go there again, it doesn't really work, but if you connect your wallet, you can sort of play around with what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be, and so that's just another example of like how you're trying to, make it simpler for people. And I again, man, it's a commendable thing. I genuinely appreciate you in this space. It's just so fun to have you. And I appreciate what you said before, not to graze over to the burnout. It's important, and I've been. This has kind of been a theme lately for me. Is enjoy what you're protecting and enjoy what you're fighting for. Enjoy what you're building. Don't forget that. You got to enjoy it because this shit is so fun. Take a step back and appreciate what you're building, man, because the community, I could, guarantee you I'm able to speak for them at this capacity and say that we appreciate you and you've made all of our experiences so much better, and more simplified and efficient. And the last thing, I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of like shout out your project, shout out the legend himself, Mr. Tucker, and tell these people how they can come support you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Definitely, understand what you're saying. If anyone's listening to this, if you're feeling some sort of burnout, definitely take a break and come back stronger. I think that's the motto. In terms of our shill, I don't really have anything to show for you today. But if any of the projects that we talked about today interest you, please, feel more than welcome to message in our Discord and say, "Hey, I want to check this tool out." Or if you're an artist and you feel intimidated and you don't really know how to use Touchstone, please reach out to me personally, or just reach out to us in our Discord and say, "I'm looking to launch a collection. How can I do that?" And we'll lead you exactly down that road. And if you want to also check out our academy, there's no prerequisites. If you want to learn cadence or flow or anything really, you can always ask questions. It doesn't matter if you've never coded before, or if you think you're a total noob. I was there at one point too, and look where I am now, absolute legend. So yeah, feel free.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you a ton. I'm gonna end the recording. I hope you'll stick around. We got Rove coming up. I have to go jump into the space and give it a little test drive. I got a nice little DJ set. But I don't know if you're privy to Rove or not. But we are gonna go play around in this virtual space. I got a tweet coming out. I'm gonna throw some music on right here, but then we are all gonna transfer to a virtual world.
Awesome. Yeah. Have an absolute blast, everyone else. I'll be watching you.